This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
What's up? Real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here, and welcome back. We're back. My name's Ricky. I'm joined with my co-host, JD. JD, how you doing?
Doing fantastic, my guy.
I say we're back because we took a little bit of a hiatus that didn't mean to be a hiatus. It was basically a month off. We got a winter break off. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Reason being, I've said this on Heel Talk, so if you're a Heel Talk watcher and a Draft Room watcher, I'm sorry you got to hear the same story again, but basically all of my stuff, so behind me or behind the camera, I have my camera, my lights, pretty much all my production setup going. And I moved all that because when JD and Soapy and our other friends came in for Survivor Series, I moved it because we were going to Dave's. Soapy and I were recording Heel Talk Live. Well, while that space was open, since I still live at home, my dad's like, oh, I can just put random crap there, and just filled in the space. So it was me trying to figure out, where am I going to move this stuff, and then actually moving it. Because that was just a hassle and a half. So everything is fine. We're back I'm back in operational. Everyone else was waiting on me pretty much. They're like, Ricky, where are you? JD's like, dude, I'm getting the itch. He's looking at his watch. He's like, I'm getting the itch. Come on. But we are back, the Draft Room, where we talk about all the latest NFL. JD and I talk NFL draft news starting next week. We're basically in full mode, JD. Because starting next week, Dave and I start, and it's pretty much a Draft Room every week until the NFL draft, and then Dave and I take you to the NBA draft. But today we're talking about the Bears and what they should do, because JD and I haven't weighed in on that. Before we get into everything, though, housekeeping. Join the Discord. If you're not part of the MVP Discord, that's where we have all the great conversations with you guys. You can join that for free down below. If you want to get the Draft Room early and other perks by supporting us, check out our Patreon page that is down below as well. Also, this is more of a myself thing, but I'm putting it on there. Sponsored by BETUS. So if you're into betting, want a great app that you can use my link down below to sign up and get 125% of your bonus or of your deposit in bonuses. I'll tell you more about them later. Use the link down below, though. And then last but not least, comment down below anything that you hear or you feel that, hey, I want to chime in. Let us know down below in the comment section. But JD, let's get into this. This is the hottest topic, especially here in Chicago. People are still talking about it, and sports radio is still talking about it because nobody knows what the Bears are going to do. So the Bears have the number one pick. Caleb Williams is presumed the number one prospect in the draft. However, the Bears also have Justin Fields, who had a very nice year this year. He overexceeded what many thought he was going to be this year. So the Bears have a dilemma. Do they keep Justin Fields, who right now is he's entering the last year of his contract. However, the team has a club option. So entering his last year, but you technically could have 2 years of control on Justin Fields. Do they keep Justin Fields, trade the number one pick, try to get a haul for that, because you're probably going to get a pick swap this year. You'll probably get multiple firsts and even like some seconds and thirds thrown in, or you trade it for another grade A player like DJ Moore, like they did last year. So pretty much the question is simple, JD. I'm going to just get right into it. I'll ask you first. If you're the Bears, you're Ryan Poles. What are you doing? You keeping Justin Fields and trading the pick? Or are you drafting Caleb Williams and you're trading Justin Fields?
As it stands right now, I am picking Caleb Williams, number one. I say as it stands right now because obviously something could happen during the offseason, like Caleb Williams, knock on wood, but he could get hurt and that could change your plans. But as it stands right now, yeah, I'm taking Caleb Williams. I mean, Justin Fields hasn't done anything really like in his NFL career so far. And this past, or I guess this current season was supposed to be the year that he was like having MVP like dark horse talks, and which I don't know why, but he was. And Bears fans had super high expectations for him this season, and he just did not live up to it. You can also make the argument that his offensive line wasn't very good, his weapons didn't help him much, but ultimately he didn't make plays. And I think it's his time. Like, Caleb Williams is still the number one player in the draft, in my opinion. And I think he can be a franchise changer. And the Bears desperately need that because right now they're just stuck in purgatory of being ass, quite frankly. So, yeah. So like, I think, but like the tough part is then, well, what do you do with Justin Fields? Because if the Bears are going to be trading him, I don't know what his draft stock is, or sorry, his trade value is, and also, like, what team would want Justin Fields to be like? Would it be like a situation where a team is banking on him being good at his next stop?
So
or
I'm gonna throw this out there.
yeah,
Because I'm working on my next mock draft, and basically to let everyone know how the mock draft is going to work is I was gonna record it this week, but then I'm thinking, you know what? We basically have the conference championships this weekend, then the week off before the Super Bowl. I'm going to wait until after this weekend's games have completed. Therefore, only 2 picks at the end. It's basically, okay, Ricky's Super Bowl predictions. Flips around the last 2 picks. So I will be recording that. How I'm thinking about it, I will be recording that on Monday. It will go on Patreon on Tuesday. So if you want the mock draft early, patreon.com, link down below. And then by what? That would be... So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So Friday, my mock will go live next Friday. So a week from today, if you're hearing this on Patreon, a week from today, the mock is up on YouTube. But for everyone else, end of this week. You're seeing this on Monday, end of the week, my mock will be up. And I say that I've been looking for value in Justin Fields because I'm in the middle on this decision. I see option A, I see option B. I could go either way. The thing with Justin Fields is his value. Can you get a number 1 pick? Not number 1 pick. Can you get a first round pick out of the Falcons are the main team I'm looking at. They're the ones that have been linked to Justin Fields. I've seen some people say, yes, you can get a first. You can get the 8th straight up. But then there's a lot of people that are like, nah, you'll probably get like a 2nd and a 3rd for Justin Fields. And to me, it's like, okay, if I'm drafting Caleb Williams anyways, do you trade Justin Fields if you're only getting a 2nd and a 3rd? Or do you need a first out of him?
I would be thrilled with a 2nd and 3rd because I don't think there's any world you get a first round pick for him.
Okay. Because I'm with you, JD. I say I see both options, but I think I'm leaning towards Caleb Williams, and here's why. I want to play a fun game with you. I'm going to give you 2 quarterbacks. I'm going to read your quarterback A stats. I'm going to read your quarterback B stats. You tell me which quarterback you like on your team. Or I'll ask you this. Do you want to tell me which quarterback do you like better or which quarterback you would get rid of?
Do which one I like better.
All right. Option A, this quarterback, single season stats. This quarterback completed 67% of his passes, had just over 2,000 yards, 2,055, 16 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. If you're a QBR guy, he had a QBR of 53.8. Quarterback B only completes 61.4% of his passes. He had just over 2,500 passing yards, 2,562. 16 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, QBR of 46.2.
I'm taking option A.
Would you like to know option A or option B first? Do you want to know who you picked or who you got rid of?
Who I got rid of?
Justin Fields. Do you want to know who you picked?
Yeah.
Mitch Trubisky. And this is the one argument that I've seen on Twitter for this. And I saw it, looked into the stats, and I went, OMG. The argument that I saw is people clamoring, Bears fans like, oh, we need Justin Fields. He's Mitch Trubisky. Let's be honest. You guys all hated Mitch Trubisky, and Mitch Trubisky has better things than Justin Fields. Like, okay, here's the thing.
What I just want to say, what really did it for me
is the completion percentage.
Well, the completion percentage and the QBR.
Okay.
Because a 48 QBR is awful.
So the QBR to me, that's kind of a smokescreen that I threw in there. The completion percentage is huge to me because 67% of your passes compared to 61. Now, I will say, Justin Fields, the thing I didn't throw in there that probably would have been the red herring of like who's who, rushing yards. So I used the stats from their last year in Chicago.
Yeah.
Where Justin Fields, 657 rushing yards, 4 rushing touchdowns, 3 fumbles. Mitch Trubisky had only 195 rushing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 fumble. So like, I get the argument some are going to say they're 2 completely different quarterbacks. Fields is more of a runner, and like Trubisky could use his legs to get out of the pocket, but he was never a threat to be like, he was never a threat to be like Michael Vick or that kind of dynamic runner. Michael Vick is using just the cream of the crop to compare him to, and I probably shouldn't have done that. But Justin Fields is more of a danger on his feet. I get that. But from the quarterback position, even look at Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson was more of a runner than a thrower when he came into the NFL. The big thing we hyped up and why I loved Lamar Jackson out of Louisville was all the runs that he was doing. Watch the game against the Texans. Yeah, he killed the Texans with his legs at times, but he made the throws that he needed to make. You are a quarterback. You need to be able to make the throws first. And the thing that I sit with was I'm the Bears, and this is the question that I asked Tim, MVP in the Discord, resident Bear fan. I talked to him a lot. And I asked him, I said, and you know what? I'll ask you the same question before I give his answer, because I want to know what a non-Bear fan thinks. How close do you think the Bears are to being Super Bowl contenders? Not just in the playoffs, not just like, oh, we're happy to be here. Like, actually, like, wow, this team could go on a run and make the Super Bowl or win the Super Bowl. How many years away do you think the Bears are from that?
As they currently stand?
As they currently stand after this year, before the draft.
4 or 5 years.
Okay, you were different. He said 2 to 3. And yet again, that was me. Like, when I heard that, I was like, okay, like his reasoning was the defense. The defense is solid. There are some good pieces. Like, offensively, it's the offensive line. Get Fields maybe some better weapons, especially you guys need better running backs. I'm sorry. Your running backs just aren't going to cut it. But the defense is solid. And maybe that was the reason the Bears kept Eberflus. Hey, the defense is solid under Eberflus. And it was a lot better once they brought in Montez Sweat. And it seems Montez Sweat loves to be here. But I was leaning more towards your answer. I don't think the Bears are 2 years away from being Super Bowl contenders. And the reason I ask that is how many years of control do you have under Justin Fields? 2 at most. Before you have to either pay him. Now, with his performance, you're not going to be giving him, like, basically, you're not going to be giving him Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes money.
No.
But you're still going to have to pay him. And me, I would rather go with Williams, mainly because 2 reasons. 2 reasons. 1, control. I have 5 years of control of you.
And more upside.
More upside, but more important to that upside argument, CJ Stroud just showed us being a rookie don't matter. If you're good, you're good. If the team is built well around you, any quarterback can succeed. Now, the thing with the Texans, I'm going to say that's different than the Bears, this is what I'll say before I kind of let you go because I've been talking for a bit. The difference between the Texans and the Bears is DeMeco Ryan, he showed in San Francisco, but then he showed this year he's head coaching quality. He's going to be a really good head coach for the Texans. He knows how to get a team and then coach that team. Eberflus to me ain't that guy. You're not that guy, pal. You're not that guy.
Yeah. I'm just gonna get on my pedestal for a minute and say that I feel like one of the very few who were high on the Texans this year. Granted, didn't have them doing
no one
as
thought
well
they
as
were
they
going to
did.
get to the divisional round.
No, but I thought my buddy that's in the Discord, he's a Texans fan, and I told him, I'm like, I expect you guys to at least win 6 games this year. And you know, and that's the thing, like, personally, I don't mean to be I'm not trying to be a Bears hater. I don't hate them, but I don't even think their defense is that great. Like, I still think they have quite a few holes, especially in that secondary. Their linebackers, I mean, aren't amazing. Like, their D-line is getting there, which is good. But yeah, like, that's part of the reason why I think they're so far away, because they still have so many holes. It's not like they're the Steelers where their defense is elite and they're just missing offense, right?
And although we clown on Mike Tomlin, he is a quality head coach.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, so like you said, Stroud, he came into the league again. He did a lot better than I thought he would have. I thought he was going to be good, but I had my doubts, and he proved me wrong. But that goes to show, like, again, with Bears fans, a lot of them still make the excuses for Justin Fields. Oh, well, he doesn't have weapons. His weapons don't do well, or his offensive line sucks. The Texans this year, their O-line was injured for half the season, and they made it work. The Texans' weapons, we'll get into it later in the offseason, they're not amazing. My guy Dameon Pierce ended up ending the season as a kick returner.
Yeah.
And their wide receivers, sure, they have Tank Dell. He's going to be really good, but nobody expected him to be that good. You know, like, Dalton Schultz is good, but I think he was only on a 1-year deal. Who knows if they bring him back?
Yeah.
So, like you said, it's up to the quarterback. The great quarterbacks make the guys on their team better, and Justin Fields just hasn't done that whatsoever. So maybe, I just want to say one last thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
So maybe in a different situation, maybe Fields just ends up being a game manager going forward, and a team is able to get him to be at least like above average to good. But I don't think he's the guy to bring a Super Bowl to Chicago.
So I'm going to say this. There's only one way I keep Justin Fields if I'm the Bears. And the only way I'm doing that is if it's... So, I'm going to be honest. I think the Bears are going to end up trading the number 1 pick. That's how I feel. And the reason why I feel that way, and you can tell me if you agree or disagree, JD, is when I heard they were bringing in Shane Waldron from Seattle, my first reaction was they're going to keep him. Because, like, I look at the teams the quarterbacks that he has been around, most of them fit Justin Fields more than the number 1 overall pick right out of, to me, if they were going to go with Caleb Williams, I thought it was a slam dunk. Cliff Kingsbury was the guy. That would have been the guy.
Yeah.
You team him up with the guy that recruited him in there, and, like, that's what you go with. And, like, Cliff Kingsbury, not a good head coach, but, like, knows his way around an offense, and an offense of what the NFL is in. Like, he was the coach that got Patrick Mahomes in college, and then look at Patrick Mahomes. Like, he's the dude that knows that air raid, that fast style kind of offense. And like, you look at, let's see, with the Seahawks, what, 2021, 23, that was just Gene. That was a little bit of Russ and then Geno, two guys that weren't rookies. Then you say with the Rams, Super Bowl years, the 2019, 2020, that's Matthew Stafford. Then you go ahead and go even further back when he's with the Washington football team in 2016. Oh, who was their quarterback in 2016?
Was it
Kirk
what's
Cousins.
his name?
Kirk Cousins.
Was Kirk?
Yet again, not a rookie.
When did Buddy that you no, he was the guy that was on the Chiefs before Mahomes. I forget his name, but he almost like died or lost his leg.
Oh, Alex Smith.
Yeah, Alex Smith, that's who it was. When did
he was on he was on the Washington football team before the Chiefs, I believe.
No, it was after.
No. Did he make a second?
Yeah, because when he was on the when he was on the football team,
2018. So yeah, no, that was it. The Niners, that was the team he was drafted by. He was with the Niners until 12, the Chiefs from 13 to 17, and then the Washington football team from 18 to 20.
Okay.
So this would have been while Alex Smith was with KC. You had but like all the quarterbacks he's worked with have not been number one overall picks.
No.
And like, that's why I'm like, okay, they're going to end up trading the pick. But like I was going to say, the only way I'm trading the pick is if my goal is, one, I'm going to take in draft assets because next year my target is Shadir Sanders. Not many people are talking about that. Could Shadir Sanders be a better quarterback prospect than Caleb Williams is?
I mean, the thing that makes me think that won't happen, though, is just the fact that, like, we said that last year, and they did trade the pick, the first overall pick, because we're like, okay, well, Caleb Williams next year, and then they're here. They got the first overall pick again.
Yeah, but do you think Ryan Poles doesn't know what you know? Do you think he doesn't know that this team is not 2-3 years away from a Super Bowl? That they're more 4, 5, maybe 6?
No, I'm sure. I'm sure he's optimistic, but yeah, I'm sure he knows that they aren't great. But I don't know what the odds are of them again finishing dead last. Because as much as I don't think they're good,
they only got the number one pick because of the Panthers.
Exactly. So again, do you want to risk that? Like I'm always on the side of if you're bad and you don't have an elite quarterback, you take the elite quarterback in the draft or the one who has the potential to be elite and you go forward because the odds of you being that dead last again are slim to none.
Hi, everybody. Just want to take a quick moment out of today's podcast to tell you about our sponsor for today, BETUS, a sports book that has it all, whether it's basketball, hockey, football, soccer, whatever you like to bet on, BETUS has you covered. And they are offering our viewers and listeners today a 125% sign-up bonus just for using our link down below in the description. So go ahead, use that link down below and get your 125% sign-up bonus, BETUS. And now, let's get back to the podcast. So there's only one way I make this trade, and that's trading the number one pick. The only way I make the trade is if I'm trading with Washington or New England. And the reason why I say that is if I am trading the pick of Chicago, I need to guarantee myself that I'm getting Marvin Harrison Jr. And the reason I say or New England, because people might say, well, Ricky, the Washington football team is there at 2. I think that it's going to be quarterback at 1, quarterback at 2, and then if the Patriots are there, quarterback. Like how I'm starting to see it, maybe this is I don't know if this is how my mock draft is going to end up because trades may happen, but so the Bears or whoever they trade with is going to take Caleb Williams at 1. I don't think there's a team that comes in here, because one thing I thought about, and this was like tinfoil hat Ricky, could you imagine a team like the Bills being like, we'll give you Stephon Diggs and a butt ton of firsts to try to get Marvin Harrison in the top 5? I thought about that. I was like, could they? But yet again, if I'm in the top 5, why am I trading for picks that are going to be low first round picks? Because the Bills are a good team. So like I instantly got rid of that. But quarterback will be at number 1 regardless. Washington is interesting to me. They're probably going to go quarterback. They've got the dude that was the Warriors GM.
Oh,
no,
what's his name? Mark?
Do they?
Mark? Yeah, I think you're right. Mark or whatever. I can't. I don't know. I don't like.
Give me a second. A simple Google search could, because I was just looking at this the other day. Yeah, I want to say they have him. Yeah, because it's not Martin Mayhew anymore. But basically, I think they're going to go quarterback with the Washington football team. Mm-hmm. And then the Patriots, Gerard Mayo has come out and said, he has already said that they will take the best player at the number 1 need at 3. So to me, could be a smokescreen. I don't think a part of me was like, oh, maybe the Patriots trade up. After he said that in his introductory press conference, I immediately was like, oh, they're not trading up. Their number 1 need is quarterback. I will tell you this, Jaden Daniels, he better like blue and red, because he's probably going to end up a Patriot. I think he's going to be, it'll probably be Williams, Drake May, and then even though Drake May I would not have at number 2, I keep saying this. I don't know how much more film I need to watch to try to fall in love with him, because I don't hate him. Is Drake May. I just don't love him, though.
You just think he's like good.
And I'll tell you, I got to watch way more film on Daniels, because there's a chance he's a Viking, and I do not love Daniels at all. I don't love him at all. I think there's bustability all over that pick.
Oh, 100%. But like I've liked like Drake May's grown on me a bit. Mm-hmm. I still am not in love with him, but I mean, I definitely like him a lot more than I did during this season.
Mm-hmm.
Jaden Daniels, but yeah, like I think Jaden Daniels is like the highest upside. I mean, he's shown flashes of being amazing, but then it's just like you said, he has the bust ability, because there's times where he's just not reading the defense at all, and he relies on his athleticism or his or he makes some, quite frankly, pretty lucky throws.
Yeah,
whereas receivers come away with it.
And like that's the thing where it's like, if I'm the Bears, if I'm trading the pick, I'm getting Marvin Harrison. Because I think that a perfect draft for the Bears either sits one of 2 ways. Option A, you trade the pick. A perfect first round for you guys is Marvin Harrison at 2 or 3. And then either a Olu Fashanu could fall to 9. Even if I'm getting a Dallas Turner or a Latu, one of the edge rushers from Alabama or UCLA. Harrison and Ola Fashanu would be the perfect day if you're trading the pick. Perfect day if you're keeping the pick and trading Justin Fields. Let's say you get a second or third out of Fields. A perfect day is I get Caleb Williams, and then I'm taking I'm probably taking Rome Odunze from Washington at 8. I mean, one of those looks way better than the other, but the question is, if you trade the pick, is Olu Fashanu going to be there?
Probably not.
You don't think so, though?
I think Olu Fashanu is going top 4, top 5, maybe even top 3.
Yeah, so here's the reason why I think he could fall out of the top 5. Because I don't think, like, so I think quarterbacks go 1, 2, 3. Cardinals go Marvin Harrison Jr. Chargers and Giants, those are the interesting ones. Do either of those two go offensive tackle over wide receiver, over getting their quarterback more weapons?
I could see the Giants because from what funny enough, I've actually seen Giants tweets and stuff come up, and a lot of people aren't happy with Evan Neal already, and like they're ready to give up on him. So I could easily see the Giants taking a swing on Olu Fashanu to replace Evan Neal.
7's where the fall stops. If Olu Fashanu is there at 7, the Titans, a Ricky line, a Ricky favorite, they are running that ticket right up to the podium, JD. They're gonna look like Roadrunner, just right up the ramp to the podium.
I love it.
I hate saying I don't know, but I don't know. I don't know if the Bears are gonna trade the pick or not. I've asked you what you would do, but what do you think is gonna happen? Do you think the pick gets traded or they keep it?
I think they keep the pick.
Okay.
Truthfully, I think it's boring, but I think they keep it and they take Caleb Williams ultimately.
You don't want to do another emergency podcast like we did the last time?
I mean,
our first podcast ever, the Bears get DJ Moore.
I'm down because I like chaos, but for Bears fans, even it's one of those things where they may think that they don't like it or they don't want it because they don't like it, but you need it. You need Caleb Williams.
You know what I'm thinking? And I'll ask you, is there any running backs on the block?
On the trade block?
Funny
enough.
That the team would need the number 1 pick?
Oh, the first overall pick?
Yeah. Is there any running back or maybe wide receiver that I'm thinking like a la DJ Moore trade is what I'm thinking. Is there anything worth the number 1?
No. I mean, we can bring back the whole T. Higgins to Chicago thing. I'll happily take the first overall pick for him. But no, I mean, it would have to be like, I don't even know, like a Christian McCaffrey type deal, like player. I mean, because even at wide receiver, I mean Justin Jefferson. I know you would hate it, but he it would have to be someone like that.
By the way, I will say, got my Viking shirt on. We're not trading JJ. You want to know what the Vikings are going to do? Found out this week through I think it was the Mina Kimes podcast or the Mina Kimes show, that apparently the Vikings wanted to offer the war chest to the Colts because the Vikings were in love with Anthony Richardson.
Okay.
And the Colts eventually did not make the trade because they're like, we don't want low draft picks because the Vikings will be good. Apparently the Vikings were very much in love with AR. And I'm expecting the Vikings to fall in love or already be in love with either Daniels or Penix. I'm hoping it's Penix. Dude, if Michael Penix Jr. is a Viking, like, there's only going to be one other draft time where I felt happier, and that's when Io DeSumo became a Bull.
You remember last year we were like during the draft, we're like, oh yeah, like, Levis,
Yeah.
And then you're like, no, he's going like top 5, whatever. And then it started getting closer to the Vikings pick. You're like, oh my God, he's going to be a Viking. And then you guys passed him. But then in the second round, you're like, oh my God, we're just going to get him in the second round.
Dude, I was so happy. I think that the Vikings are looking more mobile quarterback. Last year, by the way, DJ Moore was traded. So the Bears gave up the first overall pick last year for DJ Moore, the 9th overall pick, a 61st pick, and then a 2024 first and a 2025 second. So if I look at this, let me just throw things out here, right? Let me just because there's an interesting deal that I think could get done.
Wait,
that I don't know if they do it. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank God the Bears made that trade, because could you imagine Bears Nation if they would have drafted Bryce Young?
Yeah. So I'm gonna put the tinfoil hat on. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Let me do 2 seconds of research before I say this. Haha. What if? Because the draft happens after free agency. I'm going to take you through a little timeline. There's a certain team out there that their running back said goodbye to their fans after their last regular season game. What if this team goes, boom, there's the franchise tag. And then they take that player and they trade him along with the 7th overall pick, along with a future first, along with a future second, along with a 3rd round pick for the number 1 overall pick. Now, they just drafted a quarterback last year that I really like, so I would hate this. But what if we saw Derrick Henry and picks to the Bears for the number 1 pick? Titans get Caleb Williams.
Honestly, I could be enticed by that.
The only other team that has a running back that I think would even garner 1st overall is Austin Eckler, but there's no way the Chargers are replacing Air Bear.
I wouldn't even say that he's worth an overall pick.
Yeah, but like, dude, I just
I
saw the
really
Titans
like
there,
that
and
package.
I'm like, you think about, like, let me look at the Titans' futures for a second. But go ahead.
Honestly, though, even like, I mean, like this, I wouldn't even say it's a hot take anymore. I mean, I feel like Derrick Henry's best years are behind him. So quite frankly, he isn't the one who really puts me over. I like the total package. I think you get great value, actually.
It could literally be the same exact package that the Bears got last year. No, okay. It can't be the exact same. The Titans don't have a 3rd rounder this year. So, like, I don't know. Could the Bears maybe work things out of, like, okay, give us Derrick Henry, give us your 1st this year, give us. Now, if you're the Bears and you're getting a 1st this year, a 1st next year, and then a 2nd 2 years from now, would you try to get a 2nd this year out of it, or say, you know what, we're good with a 4th? Because you are getting Derrick Henry.
I would try to get a 2nd, but if I absolutely couldn't, then I would probably still do the deal.
Yeah, getting 2 first-round picks and a future 2nd at least for Derrick.
Yeah.
For the number 1 pick with Derrick Henry. Like,
you would just have to hope that Derrick Henry
someone might sit there and go, guys, Derrick Henry and 2 firsts alone for Caleb Williams? Are you insane? The dude's already said goodbye. Why not get something out of him? Now, the only thing that it would be is, and this could be interesting, is, I don't know if this would be tampering, but I think you have to tag before free agency.
Yeah, you do.
What if the Titans allowed Derrick Henry to talk to the Bears? Because if I'm the Bears, I don't want him for just 1 year. I want to sign him long term.
I think legally you can't do that until
a team couldn't give a guy permission that.
I mean, legally, no, I don't think so.
I mean, let's be honest. Or you just tag him and then say, okay, here's Ryan Poles' number. Work out your deal. We're trading you there.
Yeah, I feel like that's
because then he's on your team. Like, you can tell.
Yeah.
But I just thought about that. I'm like, you could tag Derrick Henry because they used a tag on Derrick Henry in 2020. And the Titans aren't a team that tags a lot of people. Tag them, trade them. Caleb Williams in Tennessee. Tennessee's also, maybe this kind of segues us into the last thing we're going to talk about, but like, the Titans are a team where Mike Vrabel is out. Boy that you're very familiar with, Brian Callahan from Callahan Auto, is in there. I'll ask you this. This will segue us away from the Bears into the head coaching things we're going to mention. Do you think Brian Callen, Brian Callen, worked with Joe Burrow, could him and Caleb Williams be successful in Tennessee?
Yeah, I think they could. I mean, for me, from a personal Bengals fan perspective, I kind of like towards, especially this season, I kind of got like my patience thinned a little bit with them because the offense was pretty stagnant with Joe Burrow when he was playing. But yeah, I mean, look what he did with Jake Browning, our backup quarterback. If you watched him in preseason or this year's camp, he was horrible.
Yeah.
Like it would be a bad day if he had to play a game. And I mean, he looked usable, looked like he could be a decent backup. And and Joe Burrow's put a lot of credit into Brian Callahan, like helping him get better as a player, and also Dan Pitcher, who we hired to be or promoted, I guess. But yeah, Brian Callahan is a really good relationship type guy. He was able, he wasn't calling the plays for the Bengals, but he drew up all the offensive game plans for each week and schemed the offense. And he did really well with young quarterbacks. Even in his previous stops, I think he worked with a young Derek Carr when he was first coming into the league. And I want to say he worked in Denver, but
I'll look it up.
I can't.
I'll fact check you.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know how he'll do necessarily as a head coach, but when it comes to him and the quarterback, I think they can have a pretty good relationship and be successful together.
Now, one question I will ask you, because this came to my mind as soon as he was hired. Did they bring him in to work with Will Levis, or did they bring him in to draft their quarterback either at number 1 or definitely at 7?
I feel like they brought him in to draft his own guy, because what I think they did
Will Levis hater.
No, but I think their reasoning for hiring him is because he's the complete opposite of Mike Vrabel. He's an offensive mind. He's a young offensive mind.
Yeah.
And the way that Mike Vrabel was kind of like an old school type coach, and hard on the iron or whatever, and he wanted that defense. He didn't obviously he wanted to be successful on the offensive side of the ball, but now the league is going young offensive minds, and I think that's what they're doing with Brian Callahan.
He was with the Raiders as a quarterback coach in 2018. Yep. The Lions as a QB coach in 16-17. The Broncos as an offensive assistant and offensive quality control coach from 11 to 15.
Okay. Sounds right about that.
And he was a coaching assistant with the Broncos in 10. He's also a grad assistant with UCLA in 2006, 2007. I don't know if you needed that.
I don't really know what that means.
Grad assistant?
Yeah.
It basically means I'm in graduate school. And so basically when I was in grad school, I was a grad assistant for the band. Basically it's, hey, you're going to be the band director's assistant, but you're a graduate and don't get paid. You're getting paid with experience. Experience that then jobs are going to say is not real experience.
Yeah.
So have fun.
Awesome.
You're a grad assistant. You're basically free labor. So other head coaching jobs that have come out too. The big one, and we're kind of going to hit some of them and see how it really changes their draft plan. The big fish that plopped yesterday, Jim Harbaugh is leaving Michigan. He will be heading to the Go Chargers Go, and he will be in LA. JD, you're at 5. Jim Harbaugh is in that war room, and I know that it's not just the head coach that makes this deal, but let's be honest, a good GM, a good front office person who's making that deal, making that pick, is working with their head coach. Just look at the Lions. At number 5, what do you think the Chargers are doing now that they know that Jim Harbaugh is their head coach?
I'm thinking your defense still sucks, and especially your secondary. So I'm taking probably a corner.
Okay. A corner at number 1? Is there a corner
Oh,
even?
no, I have 5. Yeah, what's the kids? Well, there's Nate Wiggins.
You think he's a
And
top 5 pick?
no, I don't. But I
Okay.
also don't think the Chargers can draft well.
Here, the only thing, and this is what I've seen mocks. Do they go with wide receiver because of like Keenan Allen's health?
I mean, I guess, but like you just drafted one last year, and I just think you need to like Justin Herbert should be able to make the guys around him work.
Mhm.
Like, and he has. You can make the argument he has because the talent isn't great, but you like he's not going to score 60 points a game no matter who he has. And your defense sucks. Your defense is horrible. So I think you need to figure out that side of the ball first, especially this year.
There's one offensive player I draft at 5, but it all depends on what Jim and company want to do in free agency. And that's because you have Nick Vannett and Gerald Everett as free agents in the tight end room. Parham did well. But if I don't bring either of those two guys back, Brocky Bowers, put on a powder blue jersey, you're a Charger.
Yeah, again, that would I wouldn't hate the pick. I'm not saying they have to go defense, but it's what I would probably lean
to beef it up,
or maybe offensive line, like go tackle. But their tackle play isn't the issue.
Yeah, because let's be honest, they're going to be the thing about the Chargers that's going to be interesting is by the time we get to the draft, they could be the true number 1 pick because everyone's going to be like, quarterback, Harrison. Boom. 5. Yeah. Like, we could know who's going 1 through 4 by the beginning of draft night towards like, oh, we're talking about what the Chargers are going to do.
Yeah. No, for sure. And, I mean, maybe they do go receiver again because Johnston just didn't, or he hasn't worked out yet. I mean, he was only a rookie, so I don't want to write him off. But, I mean, again, if you're, and I know I'm going to get heat for this because and if you're in the Discord, I trash Herbert a lot. But if you're an elite quarterback.
You just don't like the Chargers, man.
I don't. If Herbert left Chargers, I wouldn't have an issue with him. But I really don't like
hate the Chargers.
Yeah, but the point still stands. If you're an elite quarterback, you make it work with whoever you got. Tom Brady didn't always have the best weapons. He made it work. All you hear about Herbert is his arm talent. Well, brother, make it to the playoffs. Win a playoff game. like, come on. But again, that goes to saying his defense sucks.
Yeah.
So that's why I think you need to shore that up.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Harbaugh had a good defense when he was with the Niners, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's one of the things that he was really good with was his defense, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think he's still more of an offensive mind if I'm correct.
I think he also had a really good defensive. I think who was his defensive? Was Vic Fangio? I think Vic Fangio was his defensive coordinator.
Because the whole thing is, the rumors are they going to be reunited?
With dude, sign me up! Sign me up for that. I love Vic Fangio. I do, and that's me coming as a Vikings fan. With the him being a Bear. 2 of the last ones. One's kind of easy. I'll throw it out there. Gerard Mayo. I almost would say, how would this affect their draft? But I kind of feel like for me, it's just going to be same old Patriots because literally he said in his introductory conference that at 3 we will take the best available player for the number 1 need. So the Patriots aren't trading. They're just going to do what they always do.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if you have any specific feelings about Gerard Mayo with the Patriots. I was surprised he got the job, to be honest with you.
I don't really have any negative opinions on, or I guess, I don't know. I don't really have an opinion on him. I just, I think it was kind of a weird hire. I mean, I get he has deep ties to that team, but I feel like it's a hire that probably won't work out. But I mean, I guess for him, hopefully it does.
Yeah.
I don't know where they'll go. I want to say they'll just go BPA,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, I don't know. I don't really have a. I mean, he was a defensive player. Maybe they go defense,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know.
And then the last one just happened today. Raheem Morris going back. I'm gonna say going back to Atlanta because he was the interim there in I think 2020. Does Raheem Morris going back to Atlanta, does that change their draft or it didn't matter?
No, I don't think it mattered. I think they're a team that just needs talent, and they're gonna go BPA.
Dude, they gotta. Raheem Morris has to learn how to use Bijan Robinson though, right?
Yeah, you think?
Do better than Arthur Smith. My fantasy team depends on it.
Yeah, like again, I'm not. I mean, I'm not chalking off Bijan,
Mm-hmm.
but
It ain't his fault at all.
And please, if you're not gonna trade Kyle Pitts,
Use him.
use him. I almost just dropped an F bomb, but like I
think we've done pretty good not getting. We even sworn.
Yeah,
we even sworn.
I know, and again, Kyle Pitts is my guy. Being a Florida Gators fan, I love him, and watching him just wither away into nothing in Atlanta is making me gonna want to jump through a wall.
Well, don't do that. Any final thoughts you got before we end this one up, big guy?
I'm glad to be back. I missed recording, missed talking football, and the best time of the year is right around the corner. Draft season, baby.
Oh, it's coming in. We're gonna have some special things going on. Remember, we are back every other week. NBA in between with Dave and I. Next week, the draft room will be back. Dave and I will be talking about the NBA draft. And then we're going to alternate this way. Remember, Discord down below. Join the best community in the universe. Patreon, if you want to support us, check that out. Link also down below. Remember, BETUS. Go ahead, get that 125% matched deposit bonus and help me out. Use my link. It's down below in the description. Then last but not least, go ahead and comment down below. We're also on iTunes, our Apple Podcast, and Spotify. You can find us there. I didn't mention that at the beginning, but thank you, JD, for being such a great. Is that a Carhartt hat? Is that the brand of that hat? I thought it was a Carhartt. Yep. Thank you guys, though, for watching, listening, commenting, doing everything you guys do. JD and I will be back in 2 weeks to talk more NFL draft. But as always, have a good day, everybody.
Goodbye.
As always, we'd like to thank the people that make these videos possible, our patrons whose names are displayed on the screen now. If you would like to become a patron, go ahead and click the Patreon icon in the bottom right. And if you'd like to check out another video from MVP Sports, hit the video in the upper left. As always, thanks for watching.